Hi there, I'm Janet, and I'm happily married to Bruce, the love of my life. Our story began at a gathering thrown by a mutual friend, where the chemistry between us was undeniable from the start. Bruce's warm smile was the first thing that made me feel truly seen, and as we talked, we quickly realized how much we had in common. It was like finding a soulmate, someone who shared not only my interests but my values too. Over the next few days, Bruce and I spent more time together, exploring our connection in new and exciting ways. Our dates were simple yet joyful, laughing together, watching movies, taking long walks in the park, and diving into deep conversations that always left me thinking. We didn't just fall in love, we became best friends, supporting each other through everything life threw our way. Bruce, with his calm presence and unyielding support, was my rock, and I knew we were building something real. It wasn't long before we decided to take the leap and marry. Our wedding day was everything we hoped for, filled with laughter, happy tears, and the love of everyone we cared about. 8 months ago, our lives took another beautiful turn when we found out we were expecting our first child. The news was a roller coaster of excitement and wonder, mixed with some nervousness about the unknown. "I can't believe we're going to be parents," I said one evening, my voice trembling with joy. "This is surreal." "I know," Bruce responded, his voice full of awe. "Just thinking about holding our baby for the first time, it's like a dream coming true." But with all the joy came a little fear. "I keep worrying," I admitted. "What if we're not ready? What if we make mistakes?" Bruce took my hand, his touch steady. "It's natural to feel that way, but we're in this together, and our families are here to help us every step of the way." "I know," I said, squeezing his hand. "We'll figure it out. We've got each other, and that's enough." Together, we knew we would learn, grow, and face whatever came our way, full of love and confidence that we'd be amazing parents. But then, one evening, something unexpected shifted. Bruce was asleep, mumbling in his sleep, and I couldn't shake the feeling that something was different between us. "Everything okay?" I asked, gently waking him. He smiled, but it didn't quite reach his eyes. "Yeah, just work stuff. It's been a little overwhelming, that's all." I wasn't convinced. "I know work's been tough, but this feels different. I feel like we're drifting apart. Did something happen? Are you okay?" Bruce hesitated, trying to reassure me. "It's really nothing, just some personal things I'm dealing with. I don't want you to worry, we're fine." I could feel the distance between us, and it hurt. "Bruce, we're partners. If something's bothering you, I want to be there for you. Please don't shut me out. We're in this together, no matter what." He sighed, trying to downplay it. "It's nothing, just a phase. Let's not make it a bigger deal than it is." But I couldn't ignore the unease in my heart. We need to be honest with each other, especially now, as we prepare for this next chapter. Keeping things in only pushes us apart. I know, Bruce said, his voice softer now. "I just don't want you to worry over things that will sort themselves out. Trust me, it's nothing serious." I tried to hold back my concerns. "All right, I'll respect that for now, but just remember, I'm always here for you. When you're ready to talk, I'll be here to listen." Despite his assurances, something had changed. Bruce was still physically present, but the warmth in his smile had faded, and his laughter seemed forced. It was like there was an emotional wall between us, and no matter how much I tried to break it down, it stood firm. I missed the closeness we once shared, and I longed for that reassurance that we were still in this together. As time passed, the distance between us only grew, and my efforts to bridge the gap seemed futile. Despite my repeated attempts to reach out and encourage honesty, Bruce remained closed off, dismissing my concerns or retreating further. It was as though he carried a secret he couldn't, or wouldn't, share, building walls that left me feeling more isolated with each passing day. I sought solace and advice from my closest friends, who listened empathetically. They urged me to confront him once more, to demand the truth for the sake of our relationship. That evening, armed with both courage and desperation, I approached him. I laid everything bare, his emotional withdrawal, the sleep-talking that hinted at unspoken fears, and the toll it had taken on our bond. "Bruce," I began, my voice trembling, "I can't keep ignoring this distance between us. I know something is weighing on you, and I need to understand. Please, talk to me. Let's face this together." But his response was silence. His refusal to engage deepened the rift between us and extinguished the flicker of hope I had been clinging to. It became painfully clear that no amount of pleading could force him to open up. I had done all I could to nurture communication, yet his walls remained impenetrable. As the weight of that realization settled over me, a storm of emotions followed: fear, anger, and a profound sense of betrayal. But I knew I couldn't let those feelings consume me. The road ahead would be difficult, but I resolved to reclaim my strength and not allow the situation to define me or my future. In my search for clarity, I turned to the one person I trusted to understand the complexities of Bruce's behavior: his mother, Margaret. From the moment we met, Margaret had welcomed me with open arms. offering warmth and wisdom that made her feel like a second mother. Our bond was built on mutual respect and honest conversations, so I knew I could confide in her. "Margaret, I need your help," I said one afternoon, my voice heavy with emotion. "Something's going on with Bruce, and I don't know what to do." Her face softened with concern. "What is it, dear? You look so troubled. Talk to me." I hesitated, then took a deep breath. "You know how Bruce sometimes talks in his sleep? Lately, he's been saying things about leaving me after the baby arrives. He's mentioned it more than once, and it's terrifying me." Margaret's brow furrowed in disbelief. "Leaving you? Are you certain it's not just nonsense from his dreams?" "I've always known Bruce to speak his mind in his sleep, even if it's unintentional," I explained, "but this feels different, Margaret, and when I try to talk to him about it, he shuts me out or brushes it off. I'm scared he's planning to leave." Margaret's expression shifted from shock to anger. "If that's true, it's unacceptable. To even think he'd abandon you and the baby, it's unthinkable. But Janet, listen to me, you're like a daughter to me. I won't stand by and let him hurt you." Her unwavering support felt like a lifeline. "Thank you, Margaret. I feel so lost, but having you by my side gives me hope." She reached for my hand, her grip firm. "You're not alone in this. We'll confront Bruce together and get to the bottom of this. Whatever's going on, we'll find the truth." "Your support means everything," I said, my voice cracking, "but I'm scared of what we might uncover." Margaret's eyes flashed with determination. "No matter what it is, you have me in your corner. We'll look into his actions, talk to those who know him best, and piece together what's really happening. And Janet, if he is hiding something, we'll make sure you're protected. You and that baby come first." For the first time in weeks, I felt a glimmer of hope. With Margaret by my side, I knew I wasn't facing this alone. Whatever the truth was, we'd face it together, stronger for the journey ahead. "I'm here for you, and we'll navigate this storm together," Margaret said, her voice steady with determination. Her words were a lifeline, filling me with immense gratitude. "Thank you, Margaret. I don't know how I'd face this without your love and support," I replied, my heart full of appreciation. Margaret took it upon herself to dig deeper into Bruce's past. Determined to uncover the roots of his actions, she embarked on a journey of discovery, reaching out to the people who had once been integral to his life, friends, colleagues, and even former lovers, seeking insight into the man he had been and the choices that had shaped him. Conversations with Bruce's old friends painted a revealing picture. They described him as a restless soul, someone who struggled with the constraints of stability and often yearned for something undefined, always just out of reach. A pattern emerged. Bruce's charm would draw people in, but his fear of commitment and need for freedom often led to emotional withdrawal, leaving those close to him feeling abandoned. Margaret didn't stop there. She sought out Bruce's former partners, hoping their stories might shed light on his current behavior. Time and again, she heard similar accounts, relationships that began with promise but ended in heartbreak as Bruce distanced himself, unable to fully commit. One story stood out above the rest. Margaret contacted a woman Bruce had dated in college, a relationship she'd vaguely recalled as tumultuous but had never pressed him about. What she learned was devastating. The woman revealed that she had become pregnant during their time together. Initially, Bruce seemed thrilled by the prospect of fatherhood, but as the reality of the situation set in, his enthusiasm waned. His distance grew until he ultimately left her to face the pregnancy alone. Tragically, she suffered a miscarriage at 7 months, a loss compounded by loneliness and grief. When Margaret relayed this to me, I felt a surge of emotions, anger, sadness, and a grim solace in knowing I wasn't alone in experiencing Bruce's shortcomings. But the revelation of his past actions was deeply unsettling. Margaret, too, was shaken to her core. The realization that she had nearly become a grandmother years earlier, and that her son's actions had denied her that experience, left her visibly haunted. "We need to confront this head-on," Margaret said, her voice resolute. "This behavior cannot continue. We owe it to you, to the baby, and even to Bruce, to face the truth." In a bid to address the pain Bruce had caused, we reached out to his former partner to express our sorrow and offer support. Her response was gracious but firm. She had moved on and didn't seek reparations. "Karma has its way," she said. "That's enough for me." The revelation spurred Margaret to action. She could no longer stand by and watch Bruce risk repeating his past mistakes, this time with his own family. After much contemplation, Margaret made a bold decision to amend her will, removing Bruce as a beneficiary. It was not a punishment but a safeguard, a decisive step to ensure that my unborn child and I were protected, regardless of Bruce's choices. "I can't thank you enough for standing by me through all of this," I said, moved by her unwavering support. "You've been my rock, Margaret." She took my hand, her eyes filled with both love and resolve. "You and this baby are my top priorities. That's why I've decided to revise my will. Bruce won't receive what he expected, but you and the baby will be secure. This is about safeguarding your future. Her words gave me pause. Margaret, that's such a significant step. I truly appreciate it, but won't this cause tension in the family? What if Bruce changes? What if he finally sees the error of his ways? Margaret's expression softened, though her determination didn't waver. I understand your hope, Janet, and I share it, but I also know that hope alone isn't enough to protect you and the baby. This isn't about punishment, it's about ensuring that your future isn't left vulnerable to Bruce's decisions. Her gesture overwhelmed me. I'm so grateful for your love and protection. I just wish things hadn't come to this. So do I, my dear, Margaret said, her voice steady yet tinged with sadness. But sometimes, protecting the ones we love means making difficult decisions, and I will always do whatever it takes to ensure you and the baby have a safe and stable life. Though the path ahead remained uncertain, Margaret's resolve gave me strength. With her by my side, I knew I wasn't alone in navigating this storm. Together, we would face whatever came next, armed with truth, hope, and an unyielding determination to protect the future. I understand now, and I'm deeply moved by your concern. Knowing you have our backs gives me a sense of peace I haven't felt in a long time. Your love and support are gifts I will always treasure, I said, my voice heavy with gratitude for Margaret's steadfast dedication to our well-being. Margaret reached for my hand, her warmth a source of comfort. Janet, you're family to me, like my own daughter. I want you to know that no matter what happens, my home and heart will always be open to you and the baby. I'm here for you both, always. Her words buoyed me, yet a gnawing suspicion lingered. Despite my hope that Bruce had moved beyond his past mistakes, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was being hidden. Gathering my courage, I confronted him one final time. This time, I addressed the painful truth I'd learned about his history, the partner he had abandoned during her pregnancy years ago. The look on Bruce's face was a mixture of shock and alarm. He vehemently denied my accusations, insisting that his past didn't define him anymore. He promised he had learned from those mistakes, swearing he was fully committed to me and our child. For a fleeting moment, I wanted to believe him. I wanted to trust that the man I loved was capable of change, that our future together could overcome the weight of his past. But as the weeks passed and my due date approached, my growing unease compelled me to seek clarity. One night, driven by a mix of fear and desperation, I opened Bruce's journal. What I found shattered any illusions I had left. His entries were a heart-wrenching confirmation of my worst fears, plans to leave me and our child, echoing the very pattern I'd hoped he'd outgrown. The words on the page revealed a man grappling with his yearning for freedom, even at the cost of abandoning his family. The betrayal hit like a tidal wave, but in its wake came clarity. I couldn't allow myself or my child to become casualties of Bruce's unresolved struggles. With a heavy heart, I resolved to protect our future. For the sake of stability, I decided to maintain a facade of normalcy until after the baby's birth. When the day finally came, the arrival of our child brought a radiant joy that starkly contrasted with the turmoil beneath the surface. But as we prepared to leave the hospital, I knew it was time to face the truth head-on. Armed with Margaret's amended will and the divorce papers, I confronted Bruce in the stark, sterile light of the hospital room. His reaction was immediate and dramatic, disbelief followed by physical collapse. The sight of him fainting amidst the chaos left me frozen, a mix of satisfaction and sorrow churning within. Nurses rushed to his aid as I stood there, a silent witness to the unraveling of the man I thought I knew. When Bruce regained consciousness, confusion clouded his face. His protests were frantic as he begged for an explanation. This isn't you. Why are you doing this? It's not just me, I said firmly. Your mother initiated these changes because she saw the truth. You're repeating the same mistakes. And this time, it's my duty to stop it. His anger flared. Why would you invade my privacy like that? Reading my journal? That's a betrayal, Janet. I won't deny it was wrong. And I'm sorry, I admitted. But I would rather apologize to you now than apologize to our child years later for not acting when I had the chance. You were planning to leave us, Bruce. What did you expect me to do? He scoffed, his tone sharp. You think you can handle this on your own? Raising a child isn't easy, Janet. You'll come crawling back when you realize how hard it is. I met his gaze, my resolve unshaken. I highly doubt that. His anger gave way to desperation. I was just going through a rough patch. I swear, I love you, Janet. I can't live without you. Please, let's work this out. But his words rang hollow. The quick shift from blaming me to begging for forgiveness was manipulation, not love. I saw it for what it was, a last-ditch attempt to keep me tethered through guilt and fear. The realization crystallized my decision. Going back would only lead to more heartache, and I refused to let that happen. Now, as I reflect on the pain Bruce caused, I no longer feel defined by it. I consider myself a survivor, someone who faced betrayal and found the strength to rise above it. The scars remain, but they're a testament to my resilience, a reminder that even in the darkest times, there's a path forward. This journey isn't about revenge, it's about healing, growth, and empowerment. My focus is on building a brighter, stable future for my child and myself. The heartbreak may have shaped me, but it doesn't define me. Instead, it's a stepping stone to a life filled with hope, strength, and possibility.